Hey guys, my name is Laura Pohl and I'm mentoring Pitch Wars this year. So I decided to talk a little more about that in the whole video. So for those of you who don't know, Pitch Wars is a writing contest and it's made of like a huge list of members and mentors who are willing to take on mentees who haven't gotten their agents yet. So for this contest, you have to have a full manuscript and you were gonna be mentored by a mentor, obviously. So for example, if you have a hard time getting agents' attention with your manuscript, or if you think your manuscript isn't quite there yet, Pitch Wars is absolutely perfect for you and it will help you get there in your career. So this week we had the Pitch Wars chat and we talked a little about what we want, about our wish list and everything else. And Nikki, who hosted us in the chat this week, I'm gonna leave a link down below if you want to watch that. It's got about an hour of a lot of Pitch Wars mentors talking and we answered a couple questions, but she also got great questions for us, which we didn't end up answering since our feed was absolutely crazy. And you know, there's a lot of YA, so a lot of people are gonna sub YA, and so there are a lot of questions. I don't know.
I'm talking a lot, like I haven't got a script for this, so I hope you're with me for whatever, how long this takes. I'm also, like, I've been wondering for a while if I should do a series of videos and everything to get, like, to expand my platform, but although I really do like recording videos, I actually hate editing them, or in this case, I actually, like, need a lot of time to edit videos. And I'm so lazy, like, it's too much work. It's too much work, so, yeah.
The first question is, we are going to introduce ourselves. And my name is Laura Pohl. I'm mentoring YA this year and I am asking for fantasy and sci-fi mostly. I do have like Western and thrillers and magical realism in my wish list as well, but mostly I'm into sci-fi and fantasy, so it's easier with those. I decided to become a mentor because it's paying it forward. Like, so many people helped me with my writing journey along the way. Like, some people helped me with my query and some other people helped me with the manuscript. You have beta readers, you have critique partners, you have so many people along the way with this journey, and it's so helpful to get to have someone who's farther along than you are, so you get to ask them questions, and like when you don't know the answer, they probably do. So it's about paying it forward. Like, I have received so much help that I also wanted to help other people as well. So I'm doing this to help other people. Yeah, yay. So for me, I think it's a lot about voice. Voice is very subjective, so it's hard to actually nail what I will like and what I won't like. But it's also about the character. Like, I want to know in your first pages who your character is. Like, what does he do and what does he want? And I think that's most important of it all. Like, a character drives the story. It's not just about plot, it's not just about setting, it's about character. I really want to know why I should root for that person in the story. So this is the most important. Like, I want to fall in love with them, I want to cheer for them like from page one. And I think for me to fall in love with the manuscript, that's what it takes. It's about character most of all. For me, it's a lot about action. Some people, sometimes I read books.
And of course I read books. I'm a writer. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
So I read books sometimes and they start with like big descriptions or just info dump, and those things are not for me. I want to start with action. I want to start with her character doing something about something. Like, they may even go to a fair, they go to the doctor, I don't know, I don't really care, but they have to be in action. They have to be in the middle of something, or they're about to start something. And that's really important because you want to jump in with your characters in the action and not just about the world itself. Like, I don't care if they're gonna introduce themselves and say, oh hey, my name is whatever, and like, this is my life. This is really boring and cliche. So like, don't try to do that. Jump in with the action. Just go and say, oh, hey, this is the first, whatever, this is the first time I'm going shopping in 6 months or something like that. This was just a bad example, so I don't know. But you know, fantasy starts sometimes with cliches as well. Or if you start with the first day of school, that's complicated too, because it's cliche and you want to avoid cliches in the first chapter because we've seen them 100 times and it's really hard to do something new with the cliches. For query, I think the thing you want to be absolutely clear about, it's stakes. What's the stake for your character or for your world? What's gonna happen? Sometimes the stakes is very general thing. For example, if you have the world ending, those are stakes. Like if your character can't save the whole world, the world's gonna die. Those are very general stakes, but they also work. You want to do them more personal in the query, like what's the stake in particular for your character? What happens to them if the world ends? Like if the world ends, are their parents gonna die? Are their loved ones gonna die? Are their little sister gonna die? Like, try to focus more on personal stakes rather than general ones. But also concentrate on character rather than the plot. Like, the character should move the plot. That's the most important thing. So if you concentrate on character and their actions and what they want, you usually get the query right. Like, there's a really good guide for query letters writing, and it's on Susan Dennard's website.
You have to sign up for her newsletter, and to be honest, like, if you haven't signed up for Susan's newsletter, you totally should, because it's the most amazing thing, like, resource for writers everywhere. I love Susan. She gives great advice, so like, you won't regret this choice. I'm like, it seems like I'm doing a personal, like, go follow her, and it's true, like, go follow her. She's amazing.
I don't really like taglines. A lot of people do taglines like, one world, 3 girls, who's gonna save them all, or something like that, and I really dislike them. Also, questions like, why you got questions in your query, like, can this girl save the world? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to answer that question because it's weird. Like, it shouldn't be there. You should tell me, hey, can she save the world? Because if she doesn't, this is what's gonna happen. This is what you have to focus on your query. So first of all, I don't think unique concepts exist. Like, we've been living on this world for like 5,000 years. There isn't something new. I mean, you can twist it around and try to find something new in your voice. And because it's you and you are a writer and you're kind of like unique, there's nobody else like you, you can make it unique. But your concept, it will never be unique. So you don't really have to worry about that too much because there isn't such a thing as unique concept. But you also have to remember, like, agents and everyone, why your story is different, why your story is important. And like, for example, if you have an assassin in a fantasy world and she's a girl, like, what's so different about that? What's different from why is your story different from Throne of Glass? Why is your story different from like all the other assassin tropes in fantasy, you know? So what makes your story special? And it may not be unique, but I'm sure your voice is. So your concept will never be unique, but you are. So that's the important thing. That's what you have to focus on. I don't really have a personal philosophy on revising, to be honest. I am an INTJ, which means I love making lists. So basically everything I do every time, like, I set up and I list everything that's the problem with the book. Usually like, character, what's wrong with this character and this character? This romance isn't well developed, or this character, I need him to appear more, or you need to kill off this character or don't make him appear at all. And then you move on to setting, like, what's the setting in this part? I don't understand what's happening here in this setting. Like, you have to live it up, like, or go less with the setting in this time, or with plot. Like, this plot line makes sense, but you have to like higher it up, make sense, make sure it's shiny in your story because that's the main storyline, or just forget about this plot point because it doesn't make any sense. So usually by making this list, I organize myself, and I'll probably do this with my own mentee. So if you're good at working with lists, if you love lists like I do, just submit to me and we'll work like this. Usually that's how I work with everything. I just make lists and I go revising. I really hope that the mentee is able to work every day, even if it's just for like an hour, or maybe take the whole weekend off, because I mean it's 2 months and we're gonna be revising it for real. I really would like to have 2 passes on the revising itself, because I mean a bigger pass to make sure I got everything right, and the smaller pass just to make sure nothing has went over our heads. And this is so, which means the person is gonna have to work a little quick. I mean, I understand if we can't make 2 passes, if it's absolutely impossible, but this is, I would like to, for us to have time to work on everything. So I didn't get into pitch wars last year, but I did make a huge revision on my manuscript, because I figured out how I could fix the story like 3 days before subs. It was absolutely insane, because I had to call one of my CPs and we stood like for a half, like we stood 1 hour and a half in Skype, just making sure I got all the plot points together. And then I just said, Lo, I have to do this. And I rewrote the first 45,000 words in the manuscript in 3 days. I mean, I don't think I showered those days. I'm not sure. Like, I remember nothing except sitting down in my bed and writing, or sitting down at my desk and writing a lot. Like, when it was done, I was just so glad it was over. But I remember, like, specifically not doing anything except those revisions, because I wanted to get into pitch wars on time. And although I did get my revisions done, I didn't get into pitch wars. So if you don't get into pitch wars, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I did revisions on another manuscript and sent it off to agents, and got my agent kind of like the traditional way.
Although I did get my agent through DiviPit. So I tweeted about that and she liked my pitch, but it was the query and she only read the first chapter, and when she said, no, send me the rest, it was pretty much like, although it was about the concept in the pitch, it is also about the writing. So if you don't get into pitch wars, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry about that.
But that was a crazy revision. Like, I don't want to ever do that again. Like, I got your back. Like, if you end up crying at 1 a.m. in the morning and you want to talk, I'll probably be here. I'll try to be here, although, like, I work, I have a day job now. So I will try to be, like, the best as possible. If you want to Skype, I'm okay. If you want to chat, if you want to, like, my WhatsApp, I'll be here. If you just want to send, like, 5-minute audios, crying, that's okay. I got your back. I will listen to you, and I think I will try to walk it out with you. Like, no matter what, I will always be here for you and for your revisions. And if you just, like, completely freak out, I will be here. I'll try to be the most sane person ever. Okay? Like, if you go insane, I'll be your anchor. I'll be here for you in your revisions. So one thing that's pissed me off, it's not that it pisses me off, but it's just like, it really gets to me, because some of you might know, but English is not my first language. It's actually my second.
And I learned English while I was in Australia, back when I was 13 years old, and we moved there with my family. So, and one of the things that I was absolutely, like, I really wanted to learn grammar, because I didn't want people to think that I didn't speak English very well. So in the end, I had to learn a lot. And for example, when you're writing in English, in your first language isn't English, like, you go a little bit harder on yourself, because you know it has to be better than other people whose first language is English. Does that make sense? Because, for example, it's another reason for people to reject you. Like, oh no, their language isn't English, so maybe they don't speak that well, so you have to be, like, double. You have to make sure everything in your grammar is right.
So one of the things that I always see in manuscripts, like, by everyone, is who is instead of whose. And that is the #1 thing that I get. Like, everyone should know this, you know, whose. It's that simple, but I see it in manuscripts all the time. That's my, and it's the only grammar error that I think that really gets to me. Like, I see it and I'm like, this is not real. I really dislike it, but it's not gonna be the end of the world if I find it in your manuscript. Like, I can change that. I would just, like, I would definitely be like, hey, do you know this? It's whose. Please check it out. So I do a lot of grammar errors myself. Like, I do not know how to spell it definitely yet. Like every time I have to correct it because I don't know how to spell it. It's a difficult word. So you see,
yeah, I stumble a lot too because although I speak good English, I suppose, I still stumble a lot and I get really nervous. For example, when I talked the first time with my agent, we were on Skype, and although we had a date set on Skype, and I knew when she was gonna call, I freaked out. I thought, oh my god, I don't know how to speak English. I don't know what English is. What are words? I had no idea what I was doing, and I'm really glad it went fine and I actually remembered the words.
For everything. But although I stumble a lot in Portuguese too when I'm recording videos because it makes me nervous. Like I'm talking to myself and to the camera and I can see, and it almost like I can see you guys through there. It's very weird. It's very cliche. I think I talked about it in the chat last week, and it was about not giving up, which is very cliche because I knew someone out there would like my work, and that's the number one thing I try to keep in mind. You know, it may not be perfect, it may not be for everybody, but somebody has to like it, you know? Like no one is gonna like it. How's that possible? Like there's there's so many agents later, like hundreds of agents out there. Like how come one of them has to like my work? So this is one of the things that I used to when I'm giving.
Yeah, I also said like pin a Kanye West quote to your board or whatever. Just, you know, Kanye West isn't very bad, but you know, he has like this huge ego, so every time you get a rejection, just remember Kanye West is out there, he's putting up work, and he's like, I'm the most amazing being in the universe. So just try to be like him, you know? Make him proud. That's what's important about here.
Time to go to some real fun questions and not just about pitch wars. So
this is a really hard question. Like, I have lots of favorite books, and I don't think I could pick one. I don't know, for example, I could read Crime and Punishment forever. It's like 700 pages. Like, I definitely could read that again and again. But when I was 10, I read Aragon over and over again. I mean, I finished it up, and then once I finished the book, I stared at the ceiling like a couple minutes, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna start this again. So I read it about 15 times, like back to back. Just like, I stopped, and then I picked it up again, and I read it again to like the extent that I actually knew some passages by heart. And I could recite them to everyone, because that's how obsessed with Aragon I was. I still like Aragon very much. It's very cliche, but it's great because when I was a kid, it was like my first big fantasy, so I still love them. It has dragons that talk. I mean, it's for kids, right? Like, kids love it, and I love it still. So, it wouldn't be Aragon nowadays, but maybe 100 Years of Solitude. I really love that book, too. It reminds me a lot of my family, and I don't know, I love it. But it's very hard. This is a very hard question. I could pick, like, all the Harry Potter books, too, because I could read them forever and ever, because they're great. This is also hard. Like, there are so many great books out there that I wish I wrote. Like, all Lee Bardugo works, they're amazing. I really wish I could have written that. So, I also think Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. I love that book. Like, it's got great romance, it's really dark, and it's got folklore and fairy tales and weird magic. I absolutely adore it. It's one of my favorite books ever. So I really wish I could write that. Could have written that, because I mean, I could just go and see, oh, my flowery, my writing is so great. And because it's an amazing book, I would love myself forever if I wrote that. But I didn't, so. Thank you, Catherine M. Valente, for writing such a great book as Deathless, which I can reread again and again and still think it's amazing. So yeah. I change the title of my autobiography like every single week. Like, I can think of a great titles. I probably have like a series of tweets with the title of my autobiography. But this week would be, will I ever get enough sleep? Like, Jesus, thank you. I'm doing it, like, I'm in the middle of the revisions, and I really wanted to be finished before pitch wars start, which means I really have to get down to work. And it means I am actually never getting enough sleep this week. This is a really weird answer, but some of you might not remember this. Do you remember Teletubbies? They were this little cute guys that were dressed up. Like, in Brazil, it was on TV all the time. I kind of hated them when I was a kid because my sister loved them so much, so she wanted to watch episodes all day, and I hated it. But they had like this cute little foods that I really, really wanted to taste like until nowadays. They have the like tubby custard, which is pink and it's kind of gooey and it's disgusting, but I always wanted to know what it tastes like. And they have Tubby Toast, which has a smiley face, and it's very cute. Like, I really wanted Teletubbies food. It looks amazing. I still want to know what it tastes like. Okay, I would take Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11 because I mean he robs stuff for a living, and I really love Ocean's 11. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Like literally, I can watch these movies back to back again and again. I love them. Time travel probably, because I would travel time, and then after I got home from work I would travel time back to morning, and then I stay in bed and get a lot of sleep. You can see I'm kind of obsessed with sleep because I feel like I haven't gotten sleep since I entered college, which was like 5 years ago. So it's been 5 years since I actually felt like I was sleeping. I don't know, I really hope to get to someday where I can actually sleep like a real human being. This is a hard one. I'm not a crier. Not that much anyway. Sometimes if I'm on PMS, I'll definitely cry, but most of the time I actually don't cry. I did cry a lot in John Green books because I'm cliche, so yeah, I cried a lot in The Fault in Our Stars. I cried a lot in Me Before You. That was sad too. Like every time someone who, usually half of an OTP dying, it's pretty sad. It's very sad. It gets me every time. So yeah, especially if it's a dramatic death. It's like, oh my god, they were perfect and then they just died. It's terrible. Don't do that. But if your manuscript makes me cry, that's like a whole point for you. I kind of love books that make me cry. I become obsessed with them. So one book that actually made me really cry a lot until I felt a headache after finishing it was Hair Fire by Sarah J Maas. Like Selena's character development is amazing in that book, and I loved it so much. Like her overcoming all the things. I really love Trauma Glass. So although it's problematic as fuck. So there's that. Okay, we all like problematic things. My favorite Star Wars character is Anakin Skywalker, so I know how problematic things can be. Like, yeah, don't at me. Like, I really love middle grade series for that. They're always usually really, really funny. Like, you laugh them out loud. The last book that really made me laugh was 15 Dias. It's a Brazilian book, and it's amazing. I wish it could get translated so everyone can read it. It's about a fat gay guy who learns he's in love with his neighbor. It's very, like, romantic comedy, but it's so hilarious. Like, his voice, the author's voice is amazing, and I laughed so much reading that book. It's actually very sweet. I love it too. But one of my favorite books, that made me really laugh was Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson makes me crack up every single time. Like, I open it and I laugh all the time because Percy is so hilarious. He's such a true character. He feels very real to me. I started reading those books when I was like 15. I think I was kind of like old for MJ, but I still really loved it. I became completely obsessed with the Percy Jackson series.
So I'm gonna end the video now. So if your pitch was helpful, if you have any extra questions for me, I'm gonna leave those links how to reach me on social media down below in the description probably. Like, you can just ask me anywhere on Twitter or on my blog or just whatever. I don't really answer to Facebook pages messages because I forget the page exists, but you can reach me pretty much anywhere. You can just like at me, please. And if you have any questions like regarding, hey, how do you like dinosaurs and robots?
That's a pretty good question. I actually went to watch, the only reason I watched Transformers 4 in the movie, in the theaters, it was because they promised me like dinosaur robots, so I would watch that. You know, that's how trashy I am.
And what else? And I think this is pretty much it. Please let me know if this video helped you. It didn't really help me, I guess. I don't know. So if you liked the video, leave a like. Okay. So, and if you want me to do any more videos, or if you think it could be really helpful to do more videos on whatever, just let me know, because it would really be helpful if I knew people wanted to watch these videos. So yeah, there's also a lot of stuff on pitch wars and genres and pretty much everything on my blog. So if you want to look at that, I have a really big resources page for writers, and it's not that complete yet because I've just kind of started, but I hope it is. And if you have any suggestions for videos or blog posts, just like leave them below. I'll answer that. Okay, bye bye. I hope to see you in Pitch Wars, and I'm gonna leave the link to Pitch Wars down below too, in case you wanted to know what that is, or if you're a writer, or if you just completely like stumbled upon this video and you really want to know what I'm talking about. So you can just click on that. Okay, bye bye. I'll see you next time.